The man who wrote The Red Badge of Courage is named Stephen Crane. The book made him an international celebrity at 24, only to die 4 years later. Crane wrote prolifically throughout his short life of only 31 years. He is known for his works in realism, and his works today live on as early examples of American naturalism and impressionism. As the eighth son of Protestant parents, Crane began writing at the age of 5, and had already published several articles by the time he was 16. Having no interest in higher education, he left school in 1891 and began to work as a reporter and a writer. The Crane family were descendants of Jasper Crane, a founder of New Haven Colony, who had traveled there from England in 1639. Crane studied at Lafayette College and Syracuse University. His mother died in 1860. He moved to New York, where he worked as a writer and journalist for the Batchelor Johnson newspaper. Crane, supported by his pen, lived among the poor in the Bowery slums to conduct research for his first novel Guy, A Girl in the Streets. Stephen Crane is most famous for his novel The Red Badge of Courage, which he wrote 30 years after the end of the Civil War with no experience of battle. The novel was commended for its revolutionary style and use of physiological rhetoric. Often described as a war novel, it focuses less on battle and more on the main character's psyche and his reactions and responses in a wartime situation. Some believe that Crane based the fictional battle in the novel on that of Chancellorsville. He may also have interviewed veterans of the 124th New York Volunteer Infantry Regiment. Told in a third-person limited point of view, it reflects the private experience of Henry Fleming, a young soldier who flees from combat, rather than upon the external world. A prominent feature of Crane's fiction and poetry throughout his career is the strong connection in between humankind and nature. At a time when most writers focused on a sympathetic bond on the two elements, Crane wrote from the perspective that human consciousness distanced humans from nature. The Red Badge of Courage is a masterpiece of American literature. It has been called the best war stories of all time, and in the introduction, Hemingway wrote that the novel is one of the finest books of our literature, and I include it entire, because it is all, as much of a piece, as a great poem is. Crane's rising fame brought him better reporting opportunities. He also got the opportunity to experience war firsthand as a war correspondent. He traveled all over the world, including places like Greece, Cuba, Texas, and Mexico, reporting on war events. In 1896, while Crane was on his way to Cuba, his boat sank. With a small party of passengers, Crane spent several days drifting out in the ocean. This inspired his book The Open Boat. Crane died in Germany on June 5, 1900 of tuberculosis, at the age of 28. His career had only lasted 8 years. Crane had several posthumous publications, including Wounds in the Rain and Willenville Stories. After Crane's death, his works were ignored until writers such as Amy Lowell and Willa Cather brought them back into public light. Stephen Crane's writings helped define the basis of American literature, and for this reason, Stephen Crane is still celebrated today as one of the greatest American writers of all time.